So, why should we be interested in the question whether God exists or not? We could be spending our time doing a lot of other things. Why investigate this one question? Well, it's a very fundamental question that deals with one of the most important subjects that we can ever learn about. And this fundamental question is, what is the purpose of life? Why are we here? As human beings, we tend to think about these questions and want to know the answer for them, regardless of where we live, what time period we're living in. These are questions that we're occupied with. And one of the most fundamental of these big questions of life is whether there's a creator or not. And when we reach the right conclusion, it opens up the door for us to be able to find the answer to many other things, many of life's other big questions. Without overcoming this first hurdle, we won't be able to move on and learn about those other things. Some of these other questions are, as was mentioned, does life have a purpose? If we are here without, we came about, life came about by chance, and we are just here, life doesn't really have a purpose. But if there is a creator, he would have to be infinitely more intelligent, more purposeful, more wise than a human being to be able to create all things. So he wouldn't just be doing things for no reason. There would have to be a very good reason why we exist. So the question of God existing is tied into, does life have a purpose or not? Another question is, if a creator exists, what does he think about me personally? Did he just create life, stand back at a distance, and set off things in motion and just watch everything? Is watching everything? Or is he involved? Does he actually care about us personally? And also, if a human being has children, would a good parent just have children and abandon them and leave them? Or would they be there, be present, provide communication, provide guidance and direction? So if God has created man, how has he communicated with us? So these are all things that are built on top of that first question, that first hurdle that allows us to explore these other questions. There's a verse in Hebrews 11 and verse 6. It says, "Moreover, without faith, it is impossible to please God well. For whoever approaches God must believe that he is, or that he exists, and that he becomes the rewarder of those earnestly seeking him." So one of the first thing a person has to do is figure out if God exists or not. And without that faith, it would not be possible to please him. We would be stagnant in our relationship with our creator. And here where it's talking about faith, it's not talking about blind faith. It's talking about faith that is built on solid evidence, just like a foundation, like a house that's built on a solid foundation. Our faith has to be a similar thing. It can't be just built on sand or built on something not credible. It has to have a substantial foundation to support our faith. So this is the type of faith that we need to have um, in terms of knowing whether a creator exists or not. And one thing that this will do for us is that it serves as a protection. What we believe affects us and the things that we end up doing in life and how sometimes how our life course turns out. Examining what you believe is a very important thing, because the things you believe will have a direct influence on your actions. For example, if you believe that we are here just by chance and we're animals, maybe we will justify that since it's survival of the fittest, I can be as ruthless, as cruel, as ambitious as possible just so I can get ahead. I can hurt as many people as I want, and I'm just fulfilling my purpose. Or you might believe that the purpose of life is to procreate as much as possible. I think Duke wants to be in the video. Duke, please go back. Uh, the purpose, Duke, go play with your ball. Go. You're interrupting me. Go, Duke. That we might believe that the purpose of life is to procreate as much as possible and pass on our genes as much as possible, and that's why we're here. But if we believe that we're a human being, that will change things. If we believe there's a creator, then it will change the way that the perspective that we have and the way we conduct ourselves. There's a there are a lot of examples in the world or in the past that show how what you believe can have negative consequences. If you believe in the wrong thing, or if you believe in lies, the type of negative consequences it could have. One of these is with the Japanese, who believed that their emperor was a god or was divine, and for thousands of years they perpetuated this notion, and they were indoctrinated with it. And in World War II, this belief caused many people, many of the Japanese population, to sacrifice their lives for the emperor, because they believed that he was divine, that the Japanese nation would never lose. They're being guided by a god. They were a superior race, and that the greatest thing they could do, the greatest honor they could have, was to sacrifice their life for their emperor, who is a god. But after the war, the same emperor admitted and confessed that he is in fact no god. And that was a huge disappointment to a lot of the Japanese. Also, the Nazis pushed the idea that the Jews were the sole cause of all the problems that German society had, and that the Jews had to be eliminated at all costs. So these are just two examples of what happens and how wrong beliefs can have disastrous consequences on entire populations. So knowing the truth about whether a creator exists or not can protect us from making bad decisions, or being led along with other people who are going down a disastrous course. And one of the most vile lies ever told in the course of human history is that there is no God. So why is this lie so destructive? It's because everything has a purpose. Everything that's created has a purpose. A coffee maker was created for a reason. A TV has a purpose. An airplane was created for a reason. Man also was created for a reason. And the highest function, or the one of the highest things we can be, highest purposes we can fulfill in life, is to get to know our creator and to have a relationship with him. in Micah 6 and 8, it says, He has told you, O man, what is good. And what is Jehovah, that's the name that's used for God in the Bible, requiring of you? Only to exercise justice, to cherish loyalty, and to walk in modesty with your God. So it's kind of summing up what God or Jehovah wants of man. There's three things. The first two are exercise justice, cherish loyalty, and the third one, to walk in modesty with your God. So a person who is modest knows their limitations. They understand where they stand in relationship to God. They understand that they're in need of guidance and direction. The modest person will not kind of try to take matters into their own hand and decide for themselves what they're going to do and kind of be headstrong. But it's also talking about walking with God. So that's continuous action, and it shows that it's possible to have a relationship with our Creator, where God is a part of our life and that we're living our life together. When we make decisions, He's involved. So having that relationship, having that friendship, having that connection is one of the greatest things that we could be doing, the highest function that we could be fulfilling. And the evolutionary lie takes that away. It doesn't allow that to ever take place. Person might live 70, 60, 80 years, but they never spent any time working on this one relationship. And we know that at the end of our life, some of the things that matter the most to us are relationships. And when everything else is taken away, relationships are the things that matter the most. And there's none other more important than the relationship we have with our Creator. So, and finally, believing in a God is one of the greatest truths that we can discover. So if I was friends with the most powerful, the richest, the most influential human being on the planet, would that not be a good thing or a beneficial thing for me? Because anytime I'm in trouble and I'm good friends with someone, I can always get in touch with them and maybe they can help me out. Now, what if I'm friends with someone who is infinitely superior than the greatest human being on the planet? Duke, I'm busy right now. Can you go back? Because when we think of it, the Creator created the Earth, the galaxies, the solar system, all other living things. So He would be infinitely greater than any human being ever. And if we have a friendship with our Creator, it could be one of the greatest truths and realizations that we have, and one of the most beneficial things for us to do. So in this video, I did not discuss why there are so many variations, like different religions have different types of gods, and what support there is, or what evidence there is that supports the belief in a creator. So those are some things that I can discuss at other times. But maybe we think this question is not something, it's kind of mundane, it's not something we're interested in. We might be interested in other things, but it's one of the most important questions we could be looking at and we could be exploring.